Hello everyone, TinaGale here with my scrappy ideas, and today I'm so excited to be playing with the new PhotoPlay Paper Dear Santa collection. And so I had a couple of photos of my kids hanging up their ornaments for this last Christmas, and I decided I wanted something to back them, and so I cut this cut file of this holly wreath, and I just took one of the papers. This one's the Think to Remember paper, and I turned it over to the back side, and I'm just tracing off the holly leaves, and I'm going to fussy cut them and then adhere those to the back of the cut file. And then I wanted just a little bit more color, and so I took my watercolors and just lightly colored the rest of the file with a mixture of blue and green, and I was just trying to match some of the embellishments into the paper and stuff, and it did a really good job. And so now I'm just kind of adhering it down, and I didn't adhere it completely down. I wanted the leaves to kind of pop up and give dimension to the page. And so I've just tacked it down into a few places. And then I had this red gingham ribbon that I put across the bottom, and that's just going to help ground my photos and stuff. And you can see here on the back how messy it is. I took it to my sewing machine and just stitched around it. I stitched all the way around, and then I stitched in the center of each one of the leaves. And so that will help it keep the leaves down, but yet let the edges pop up off of the page for added dimension. So it's something small. It's not going to show a whole lot in the end, but it does add a lot to the page when you see it in person and you see it just all of the texture and dimension to the page. And so I have that adhered down, and now I'm just kind of looking through some of my embellishments and stuff, trying to decide how much I can put on there with my photos. And then I decided I wanted to back my photos with a mat just to kind of separate it, because there was so much going on with the pattern of the background. You know, it's very, very busy, and then I had all of this going on with that holly wreath, and so I wanted something in between. And I really thought that I would go with a lighter color because of the red background. I thought it would look better. But I was really struggling with it. When you look at it on here, it really wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And so I pulled this red plaid, and when I put it down, I really liked it. But you will notice in the end that I actually switch it. I do, at this point, I'm deciding that I like the red plaid, and I go ahead and cut a photo mat the size that I want, and the way the photos were kind of angled there, that's how I'm going to adhere them to the mat. They're not going to be square on. I'm going to angle it and then angle the photo mat onto the layout as well. So here I've cut it and I'm laying it down, and then I noticed this gray on the back side, and I try it, and that one's perfect. It kind of brings out the scarf that my son's wearing, and it just really allows the pictures to pop up off the page, but yet keep it distanced from the background. So I am going to use the gray side, and I'm going back to the embellishments, and you'll see here I have a piece of wax paper that I've kind of stuck some of the stickers to, just until I can kind of decide which ones that I want to use. I know I want to use that Santa sticker because of the tree and just the colors in it and stuff, and he's just too adorable not to use. So I know I'm going to put that down there. And then I want to use some other circle embellishments. And so I have one up there on that sheet that I thought I was going to use, but I end up not using it. And since I couldn't quite decide whether I was going to add a title or use the one from the sticker sheet, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and finish off this wreath. And so I pulled out some different gems that I had, and these are some gold ones with texture. They're really lumpy, but they're really bright and pretty. And then I had these red glittered buttons, and I have some fabric corduroy buttons, and I kind of put those around and decide that I want to mix them all and use some of all of them. And when I start putting them on, you can see the berries on this cut file are really kind of large. And while most of the pieces that I had picked out were going to cover it up, they weren't all going to cover it up. And so what I ended up doing was going and cutting all of those off of the cut file, because you could tell just from design where they needed to be, and there was a lot on there. So I cut all of that away, and then I add all of my circle embellishments. And so while I'm kind of deciding, I had pretty much decided that I wanted to do that, but I was kind of afraid to go cutting on the cut file, just in case, because it's like, oh, if I mess it up, what do I do? I can't really fix it unless I just take everything apart, and I had sewed on it, so I definitely didn't want to be doing that. And so if you follow me and watch my videos, you know that I will let something just sit there for a while until I can think about it. I'll move on. And so I went ahead and decided that the word Believe, I wanted to go ahead and use that as my title. And so I'm just adding some pop dots to the back of it, and I'm going to put it up to the top. And it kind of curves at an angle. You'll see it's kind of rounded. And so I end up, I didn't really like that. So I ended up cutting the B away from the word, and so that I can straighten it up so it'll be kind of curvy, because the letters are not parallel all the way across, even if it had been written straight. And so it still works out by just cutting the first letter off. Okay, so you can see here now on the background, I went ahead and cut all those little berries off the cut file so that I could use different sizes of the embellishments that I had. And so then I had all of these longer stickers. This one up at the top says Jolly Old St. Nicholas, lean your ear this way. And it had that little ornament on the circle, and I really wanted to use it, so I pop dotted it up and decided to add some twine from it, and then I put that long phrase sticker over the top of it to hold all of that down. And so that's going to be my upper embellishment there. And as you can tell, I have so much washi tape on the back of this layout, it's pathetic, but it's a great way to use up washi tape that you don't really care for. And that one roll is one that I don't care for, and it's almost gone. It leans a little bit more to the purple than what it looked like when I ordered it. So if you have washi tape you don't care for, keep it on your desk for adhesive. So here's the little Santa Claus, so I decided to go ahead and pop dot him up. At the bottom I have that sticker that you see at the top there that's kind of in the brown. It says All I Want for Christmas. That's going to go down at the bottom with some smaller embellishments. And these photos are ones that I took. We had flown my son home for Christmas early for his dad's birthday, because his dad's birthday is at the beginning of December. And so I flew him home as a complete surprise to my family. And so this was the night that he had gotten in, and we had dinner with friends and then came home, and he didn't even take off his coat or anything when he came in. He had to get ornaments out of the bag. Each year we get ornaments for the kids that represent something that happened in their life the year before or that year. And he had gotten his sister an ornament, and then he had gotten his ornament, and he got one for my husband and I. And so he was just so excited to get home, to get those out of his bag and to give us our ornaments and to put his on the tree. And so it was just a really special time. We weren't going to have him home on Christmas Day, but to keep that tradition alive, and that it meant so much to him that, you know, that was the most important thing when he got home, was to do that even before he could take off his coat and unpack or anything, because it was just going to be a quick trip. So these are really great photos, and I'm really glad that I was able to snap them of them decorating the tree. So that's one tradition that we do have that's different now that they're grown and not living at home. So now I'm just attaching these embellishments. Like I said, these are little gold ones that are in like 3 different sizes, and so I'm just kind of deciding where I want them. I'm splitting them up. I had the 3 red glittered buttons, and so I put those in 3 different points to kind of create a triangle. And the corduroy ones are up there at the top right, and so I'm going to do the same thing with them, and then I will fill in with the smaller gold ones. And this is where I decide to go ahead and cut that title apart so that I can get it more straight. It just really, even though the wreath behind it's round, I didn't feel like it looked right going in a circular. I felt like it needed to be straight along with the photos, even though the photos are kind of angled as well. And then after I get all of the gems and stuff on there, I go back to the sticker sheet, and there's these great little small holly stickers. And so I just put those around, and I did the same thing. I put 3 on the wreath, and I just kind of created a triangular area. And then I put one down at the bottom with the brown sticker that says All I Want for Christmas. And I added my journaling towards the bottom, and you could certainly type it on some white cardstock and cut it and type it down there. I ended up writing just right on top of the page because I kept the journaling a little bit generic. I told a little bit of the story, but I'm going to go and write out a much longer story journaling part explaining everything that I just kind of described to you and kind of the backstory and stuff. So it's going to take up a lot of room. So that's why I just decided to go ahead and write on the page. And that's going to pretty much finish up this layout. There's going to be some still shots at the end that show it completed with all of the berries and stuff on there. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Be sure to check out the PhotoPlay paper. You can get it at My Scraps and More right now and use the code 20September15 to receive 20% off. So be sure to hop on over there all this week onto the blog, and we'll be sharing more layouts with this fabulous paper line. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.